Hello, my friends. Pastor Mark from Clinton Avenue Reformed Church, welcoming you back to our new series of Bible stories. This is part 2 of 5. How to lead a really, really good life and let your light shine. Remember, we talked about Thomas last week. This week, we're going to talk about another of Jesus' disciples named Peter. There he is. There's Peter. I hope you can all see it well. Peter and Jesus are talking next to the Sea of Galilee on a beach. And what do you see there? You see a little campfire to cook up some food. Now, why are they talking? Peter was pretty embarrassed. See, Peter was a big, strong guy, and Peter trusted his own strength. Now, we talked about how Jesus had been killed by people who did very bad things. Well, the night that he was arrested, and he died the next day, on the night he was arrested, Peter had said, I will never, ever betray you, Jesus. I will not deny you, Jesus. And Jesus said, Peter, you're going to deny me. And Peter swore up and down, I would never do that. Well, Peter did. He denied knowing Jesus 3 times. When Jesus was having troubles and needed a friend, the disciples weren't there for him. And Peter denied knowing him 3 times. Well, now Jesus has been raised from the dead. That's what we celebrate on what we call Easter Sunday, the resurrection of the Lord. Peter and Jesus had this talk a little while later after the resurrection. They're on a beach. And Jesus comes up to Peter and he says to him, Peter, we're going to have a talk. Let's walk up the beach. Now, Peter's a little embarrassed because he's denied Jesus now 3 times. Would you be embarrassed? I'd be embarrassed. Suppose you were mean to a friend, and the next day the friend walks up to you and wants to talk. You might avoid talking to that person. You might even want to run away from that person. You might do everything you could to try to avoid talking to that person. Well, Peter was embarrassed, but he did love Jesus. Even though he had denied, he did it because he was frightened. It's not that he loved Jesus less, it was just that he feared other people more. Now remember, he had denied 3 times. So Jesus said to him, Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord, I do. Then a second time, Peter, do you love me? Oh, yes, yeah, you know I do. Peter, do you love me? Look, Jesus, you know everything. You know I love you. See, for every time Peter had denied, he was given a chance to affirm his love for Jesus. Now it was up to Peter to accept that forgiveness. Jesus gave him a job. He said, you're still going to be in charge of my church. And you're going to have to take care of these other disciples, these other students of mine. And Peter realized then that despite the fact that he had denied Jesus, Jesus really was still going to trust him. Now that is a tremendous gift that Jesus gave to Peter, that gift of trust. You know what? Peter went on to become one of the bright, shining lights in the church. He became the first Pope of the Western Church. And he really did help all the other disciples. And he went throughout all the known world, telling everyone about Jesus, how he lived, how he had died, and how he was resurrected back from death. The guy who denied was forgiven and became a shining light in God's kingdom. That's a challenge for us. Even though we maybe haven't been really, really close to God, God forgives us and we can change that. Even if we've done some bad stuff, God forgives us and we can change that. As many times as we have been wrong, God grants us forgiveness, but he tells us to do good things now, that we will be shining lights in this world, and we'll warm up other people, and our light will give guidance to others. Jesus met the guy who denied him on a beach, and he forgave him, gave him a job to do, and Peter became a shining light. And I hope all of you listening to this will do the very same thing. As many times as you fouled up, well, now do some good things for God. Let your light shine. This is Pastor Mark of Clinton Avenue Reformed Church, Bergenfield, New Jersey. Please comment on this, like it, share it, invite your friends to listen to these stories from the Bible. And you know what? Your light really will shine.